10 plane crashes caught on camera. Number 10. JAL 123. On August 12, 1985, this image of Japan Air Flight 123 was taken right at the moment that its vertical stabilizer broke. The plane's bulkhead exploded due to a faulty tail strike repair 7 years prior to the accident. Despite the controls malfunctioning, the pilot still managed to keep the plane in the air for 32 minutes until it hit Mount Osyutaka, causing the plane to drop 5,000 feet to the forest below. 520 people died from the crash, and only 4 people at the rear of the plane survived with serious injuries. Number 9. AA Flight 191. On May 25, 1979, American Airlines Flight 191 was scheduled to leave from O'Hare International Airport in Chicago to LAX. As the plane was taking off, one of the 3 engines of the plane broke. The pilots continued the flight as the plane could still function with 2 engines. Shortly after the plane hit 300 feet, it began to roll to the left and turn, despite the pilot's efforts to try and stabilize the plane. This photo captures the plane's final moments, rolling over and plummeting towards the ground. The mist trail emanating from the left wing of the plane is leaking fuel and hydraulic fluid. Number 8. EA Flight 961. On the 23rd of November 1996, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 961 crashed into the Indian Ocean near the Comoros Islands. The plane was hijacked by 3 Ethiopian men wielding axes and a fire extinguisher from the cockpit. The men had mental issues and were heavily intoxicated. They claimed to have a bomb and would detonate it unless all of their commands were met. The hijackers demanded the plane to be flown to Australia, despite the pilots explaining that the plane had nowhere near enough fuel. The brave pilots then secretly flew to the Comoro Islands, which lie midway between Madagascar and the African mainland. The plane ran out of fuel shortly before reaching the islands and crashed into the ocean below, killing the 3 hijackers and 122 others. Number 7. 9/11. The attacks on New York and Washington on September 11, 2001 are arguably the most horrific plane crashes in America's history. 15 hijackers targeted the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, killing almost 3,000 people and injuring 6,000 more. 9/11 was the most covered media event in history, and many horrific photographs were taken by professionals and amateurs. From iconic photographs such as the falling man to rarer photographs taken by people inside the towers. Thousands of photographs and videos were taken on the day of the event, and the incident is still etched into the minds of everyone who experienced it. Number 6. Aeromexico 498. On the 31st of August 1986, Aeromexico Flight 498 was clipped by a Piper PA-28181 Archer owned by the wealthy Kramer family. The Piper tore off the plane's stabilizers, decapitating the pilots and 2 passengers. An amateur photographer took this final photograph of the Aeromexico plane moments after its crash. The mid-air collision caused the plane to descend rapidly near Los Angeles International Airport, killing all 67 people on both aircraft and an additional 15 people on ground. The collision destroyed 5 houses as the plane plummeted to a suburban neighborhood below. Number 5. PSA 182. On September 25, 1978, Pacific Southwest Airlines Flight 182 was flying the morning service from Sacramento to San Diego. Shortly after takeoff, the plane collided mid-air with a Cessna over the skies of San Diego. These photos taken by onlookers capture the plane's final moments as the damaged right wing causes the plane to plummet to the ground below. The crash killed all 135 pilots and passengers on board, and a further 9 civilians on ground, scattering wreckage across North Park and destroying 22 homes. Number 4. Paris Air Show. Anatoly Kavochir is a stunt pilot from the USSR. On June 8, 1989, he participated in the annual Paris Air Show, sporting a Blue 303, the largest fighter aircraft of the USSR at the time. While executing a low-speed, high-angle attack portion of his routine, a bird was sucked into the turbofan of his right engine, causing the engine to burst into flames. Kvochor immediately turned the remaining engine to full afterburner. However, his speed of 180 km per hour was too slow to maintain stability on one engine. Despite his efforts, the aircraft went into a steep dive. Kvochor managed to steer the plane away from the crowd and eject 2.5 seconds before impact. Number 3. CF-18 Hornet. During an airshow at the Lethbridge County Airport in Alaska in July 2010, a CF-18 Hornet, piloted by Captain Brian Bewes, crashed to the ground below. The plane's controls stopped responding, and Bewes was forced to eject seconds before the CF-18 crashed and exploded in a massive fireball. The Royal Canadian Air Force says a number of factors contributed to the crash, but pointed specifically at a sticky piston. The crash of the $35 million aircraft was captured on many videos and photos by professionals and amateurs. Number 2. Skynliv Airshow. On July 27, 2002, Ukrainian Air Force Sukhoi Su-27 crashed during an aerobatics presentation at the Skynliv airfield in Ukraine. The accident killed 77 people, including 28 children, and injured 543. It is said to be the deadliest airshow accident in history. Many haunting photos were taken of the event that caused havoc and distress to all that attended. On the 24th of June 2005, a military court sentenced Vladimir Topana and co-pilot Yuri Yigrov to 14 and 8 years in prison respectively. Number 1. TNA-235. On February 4, 2015, shortly after takeoff, one of TransAsia Airways Flight 235's engines caught fire. Flight 235 then climbed to a maximum height of 1.5 thousand feet, then descended. The other working engine was then shut down incorrectly. Immediately before crashing into the river, it banked sharply left and clipped a taxi travelling west on the Huandong Viaduct, then the viaduct itself with the left wing. Flight 235 was the second fatal accident involving a TransAsia Airways ATR aircraft within 7 months. This still from a dashcam video showing Flight 235 clipping the Huandong Viaduct before plummeting into the Keelang River below.